Chloe Ting's 30-day shred challenge, the rise of Pilates princesses and the idea that lifting makes you bulky, asking ChatGPT or people online for toxic motivation, and obsessing over growing the biggest, juiciest glutes you've ever seen. These are just some of the things that I've seen floating around the fitness community that a lot of the times have toxic mindsets attached to them. As a certified gym girl, I've probably experienced so many similar things, and I've told myself the same toxic things that the people in the videos are probably telling themselves too. So in this video, I wanted to talk about some of the toxic mindsets that I don't or have been trying not to engage in, and neither should you, because if anything, they're just holding us back and making our minds not the happiest place to be in, while also impacting your fitness journey negatively. I quickly asked ChatGPT what the meaning of toxic is in this context, because I want us to be on the same page before I even start yapping. Toxic refers to harmful, misleading, or extreme fitness mindsets, behaviors, or trends that create unrealistic expectations, pressure, or negative experiences in the fitness space. In my experience, the way they happen is that you'll most likely in the beginning see a change or see a difference, or experience something positive, and then you backslide into negative habits or thought patterns. So it becomes a cycle because you keep going from positive to negative to positive to negative to positive to negative. And in my opinion, that's what would make it toxic, because there's a lack of consistency in that cycle. So your mind and your body, like, you kind of don't really know what to expect. And I hope that makes sense. If you're new here, my name is Tiana and I post health, wellness, and lifestyle content. And you might be wondering, like, why are you sitting here talking to me about this? Like, who even are you? I'm honestly, I'm not gonna say no one, because I'm someone, but I'm just someone who probably has similar experiences to you. And seeing as you clicked on the video, I think we do have shared experiences. My goal with this is just to share some of the toxic mindsets that I've identified within myself, in the hope that you start challenging these thoughts and making a change, because unless you realize that you can sometimes engage in toxic mindsets, you won't be able to change them. So if anything, I'm really just hoping that this video is going to make you question things and really think about things introspectively, and honestly just make you be kinder to yourself. Being on your fitness journey, there's so many new things that you're going to experience, so much information that you're going to be getting online, and different people's perspectives and thoughts and things like that. And you really need to be able to, like, either quiet down the noise that is, like, from your surroundings or even within yourself. So if you can identify some of the thoughts that are not so productive, it'll probably help you in your fitness journey and help you just be sustainable and live a healthy lifestyle for a longer period of time, rather than like in little spurts, which is usually what we do. The first thing I wanted to start with is toxic motivation. This is one that I've been seeing more often on TikTok, and it's basically a no BS way of motivating yourself and basically saying, like, no one is coming to save you, no one cares about your excuses, things along those lines. And the ones that I've been seeing sometimes is like someone telling ChatGPT to give them toxic motivation, and it'll like put up this prompt, and I'll leave it here for you. And I read it and I was like, oh damn, like, this is actually motivating, which is nice, because sometimes I think we coddle ourselves too much, and it's really easy to get into a pattern of making excuses. One day you don't have energy, one day you don't have time. On the day that you don't have time, you're maybe not feeling the best, so you're like, oh, I'm just not gonna go, things like that. And then another one that I saw was basically just the person asking people to give them toxic motivation. I don't doubt that it can work, because sometimes you just really need someone to tell you how it is and to get you to stop making excuses and really just stick to the plan and not how you feel at the moment. But doing this online can be so dangerous, because people are already mean, especially on TikTok. TikTok has one of the most mean, hurtful, toxic comment sections that I've seen. And because the line between being real and brutally honest and being mean can be so thin sometimes, I think it's easy for people in those comment sections to just say whatever they want, however they want, without thinking about how it's going to impact the person. People often use this whole, like, being real or being brutally honest as a way to just be mean and get away with it. And like I said, sometimes you really just need someone to give you that push, to tell you to stop making excuses, to say that no one is coming to save you and no one is going to come and motivate you and say, hey, go to the gym. No one is coming to do that. You only have yourself to rely on. So it's very easy for you to start having those negative thoughts about yourself in an effort to motivate you. But if you think about it, we're sometimes our biggest critics, and even that hasn't helped you reach your goal yet. So maybe we should be changing the strategy instead of leaning into a behavior that has already proved that it does not work. And if it's getting you into the gym consistently, then that's great. But I just want you to be careful with that, because it's so easy to slide back into a negative mindset about yourself and start beating yourself up when you miss one session or you don't have a good workout. I saw this on my For You page a few times and I found it very interesting because the way things will twist from being a joke to being serious, it's scary. It started off now as a way to motivate you, to get you going for summer, but I promise you in a few weeks there's going to be an issue if there hasn't been already. And even in this toxic motivation thing, it's not something that's sustainable. You reading that statement from ChatGPT isn't always going to work. It's not something that's going to get you into the gym every single time you read it. So use that on the days where you really need it. But there should be another way for you to motivate yourself or for you to get yourself into the gym and doing what you need to do, because this is working for now, but it's very temporary. You're actually going to have to find motivation or discipline within yourself to continue doing these things. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the idea that lifting makes you bulky. I knew that this idea was more prominent before when we saw less women lifting weights and, you know, doing bodybuilding or anything that really included heavy lifting. And then I saw us shift away from that when the fitness community started growing and more women started entering the space and everything. I saw it come back up again at the same time that I'm gonna say like the Pilates princess came into play and became a little bit more of a trend. And I think it's really interesting because becoming bulky isn't something that's easy. It takes time for you to like actually build that amount of muscle, and simply going to the gym and lifting weights isn't gonna do that. In order for you to become bulky or grow that amount of muscle, you need to be doing some kind of hypertrophy training where you include things like progressive overload. So you're intentionally doing things to grow those muscles. I think the main worry for women with becoming bulky is in your upper body, and that's something that I've also experienced. At some point last year, I was incorporating progressive overload and like just generally lifting heavy on my back and bicep days, and I was fine with my back, but the thing I didn't like was how my biceps were growing. And I would like see pictures of my arms and things like that, and I'm like, wait, why does my arm look so big? Like, why do I look so muscular? So I understand why people are worried about looking bulky after you start lifting, but it really has to be something intentional. And the mistake I made was that I was also incorporating progressive overload in my bicep curls, and I really didn't have to do that because I wasn't trying to grow my biceps. If anything, I just wanted my arms to be toned, and you know, I would have been fine with that. But because every week or every 2 weeks that I was going to the gym, I was picking up like, I think I could have probably curled like 30 pounds or something, which isn't a lot, but because of my frame and the way my body works, the 30 pounds was really showing in my muscle. I ended up losing a bunch of weight, and then I started going to the gym again, and now I only do bicep curls once a week, and I only do it with the pre-weighted bars of like 20s. And I think I like how my arms look now versus before. You have to be intentional about how you're structuring your workouts, so it has to really align with your goals. If you only want to grow your glutes and maybe like your quads and your hamstrings, then lift heavy on your lower body days. If you're not trying to grow your biceps or your back or anything like that, lower the weight, lower the reps, like adjust and make it make sense to your goals. I've even been seeing people incorporating Pilates workouts for their upper body days, and that makes sense because then you're incorporating different types of training to align with what your goal is. So it's not that lifting makes you bulky, it's the way that you are going about your workouts and structuring them and the weights that you're choosing. And the idea that it does is moving people away from lifting weights, which I think is a bad thing because there's so many positive outcomes when you incorporate lifting into your workouts, which is a type of resistance training, and especially for women, it's very beneficial. So the idea that just lifting will inherently make you bulky is not a thing. And since we're on the topic of hypertrophy training, I think it's a perfect segue into the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is obsessing over your physique. At this moment, there's probably 1,001 different videos on how to grow your glutes, and I love it. I can't lie. People are showing the different workouts that they've seen the most progress in, and it's amazing because we can all learn from each other. But I've also developed this obsession with just growing my glutes. My goal right now is to work out 3 times a week. So I'll have my upper body day, a lower body day, and I'll probably do like a group fitness class. It's usually a Pilates and yoga one that I do. If I don't make it to the gym all 3 times, you better believe the one time that I go, it's gonna be a lower body day. I don't make the rules, okay? I think I've definitely become hyper fixated on that part of my body and just growing it and making it look a certain way and like having it toned or like having a shelf, you know, things like that, which I don't think is bad, but it also feels like I'm chasing perfection. So it's like once I reach that one goal, all of a sudden there's another one and another one, and at some point you don't feel satisfied because today your goal might be to grow your glutes, but then you're gonna be like, oh, my hamstrings also need to grow. So you're gonna become fixated on that, and then you become fixated on your quads, or this, that, and the other. And it really just feels like it becomes a cycle of trying to perfect the different areas of your body, and it gets to the point where no matter how many of your goals you reach, you don't feel satisfied, and no matter how much your body changes or how much progress you make, you're kind of not happy with it. I think this obsession over our physiques is going to start becoming detrimental, because it makes it so easy for you to be unsatisfied with your progress and to continue looking at the little things and kind of nitpicking at your body to the point where you now want to change every single part of your body. Even though you work out and you go to the gym and you probably look good, it makes it difficult for you to feel happy in your skin and feel happy in your body, and to really acknowledge and, you know, give yourself a pat on the back for the progress that you've already made. I don't really have a conclusion or a way to alleviate this kind of pressure. I think it's something that's so difficult to deal with, and it's not spoken about enough, because we really live in a society that is hyper fixated on body types, especially when it comes to women. Like the conversation about women and our bodies and the beauty standards, or like just so many things, so many things. I genuinely can't sit here and tell you how to improve it, because it's something that I still struggle with. So me coming here and saying, oh, do this, that, and the other, it's a lie. I'm in the same boat with you. I think it's very subjective, and like I said, my goal for this video is really just for you to identify the kinds of thoughts that you're having and maybe pay a little bit more attention to them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this is something that I don't see spoken about enough. So staying on the same kind of page, the next thing I wanted to talk about is measuring progress by only tracking your weight or whether or not you have attained your ideal body type. If the only way you're tracking your progress is by weighing yourself, it can be very disappointing and even discouraging when you don't reach that goal. You either start feeling like you failed or like you haven't been working hard enough, when in reality you have, and then you either give up or you start beating yourself up a lot for not reaching that goal. Progress can be measured in so many different ways. Focusing on those two ways is the quickest way for you to be discouraged. I know that a lot of the times our fitness journey is attached to a goal weight or a goal body type, and as much as those are the main goals, those are things that you really can't control, and so it shouldn't be the main way that you are seeing whether you're making progress. Progress can really look like anything. You can see progress in the way that your mood has maybe changed, in your energy levels after you started exercising, in your mindset, and in your consistency. So sometimes when you're not seeing the progress physically, it doesn't mean that you aren't progressing or that you aren't moving closer towards your goal. I feel like we don't celebrate our small accomplishments enough. In order for you to get to the big one, there's small steps that you have to take in between. One of them could be you making it to the gym 3 times a week for a month. That's something for you to give yourself a pat on the back about. Don't wait for you to reach your big goal for you to congratulate yourself, because you giving yourself that pat on the back and saying, hey, yeah, you're doing a good job, is a practice that is going to help you reach your big goals. If you can feel the difference in your mood and mindset after a workout, that's also another reason to celebrate. Those are things that will keep pushing you towards your goal. And this is why I like progress videos and photos, because you see yourself every single day. Honestly, sometimes you're not going to see the difference when you look at yourself in the mirror. Taking progress pictures allows you to see yourself like a month ago versus now, and like, you know, from time to time. And I guarantee you that if you are putting in the work for a whole month, there is progress. Maybe it's not going to show up on the scale, but if you take a photo from a month ago versus now, you will see a difference. So even though you haven't reached your main goal, being able to acknowledge the progress that you have made and the positive changes that you've seen, be it physical or not, is so important to keep you motivated and to keep you going. It's the same thing I feel when I upload a video and it maybe does better than my previous one. It tells me, okay, there's something that I'm doing right, let me keep doing it. The last thing I wanted to talk about is the 30-day or like 2-week challenges we all used to do. I was there and you were there too. During COVID, when we were all doing Chloe things like 30-day shred challenge and like 2-week ab challenges and all these things. It was fun and it was a way to challenge yourself, but you end up putting so much pressure on yourself to see a change in 30 days that you might not end up seeing. It's also easy for you to get burnt out. It sets unrealistic expectations and it's unsustainable. When I did this challenge, I would do the 30 days and then I would go right back to not working out and just continuing, you know, the way I was before, which means that whatever progress I saw in those 30 days literally just disappeared, because I never made a lifestyle change. It was really just about doing the challenge and seeing if I would get those abs or, you know, whatever thing that the video told me I would be getting at the end of the 14 or 30 days. And I really like the fact that we've moved away from those kinds of things. So if you actually want to see a difference and you want to reach your fitness goals, you really need to make it a lifestyle change, because you want to keep progressing and seeing changes rather than doing something for a month and then you stop and then you do it for a month and then you stop, and so that you're not doing so much back and forth between your old habits and the new habits that you're trying to build. Make it a lifestyle change. Make sure you are also shifting your identity and the way you think about yourself relating to exercise and fitness, and you'll see more permanent changes in your behaviors, habits, and things like that. Another thing that I wanted to add to this is how we put a time limit on our goals. I think this is one of the ways that we set ourselves up for failure, because if you don't reach that goal within that time, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to beat yourself up and you're going to be like, oh, you didn't reach your goal. When it comes to setting goals, a healthier way to go about it, rather than saying I want to lose 10 pounds in 30 days, would maybe be for you to, let's say, get on the Stairmaster 3 times a week for 30 minutes. That will eventually lead to you losing 10 pounds. You losing 10 pounds is not something that you can control. What you can control is your habits or your behaviors. So you going to the gym a certain amount of times per week. So if you know that you're going to the gym, eating the way you're supposed to be eating, you will reach your goal. And the reason why I say you shouldn't attach a certain amount of days to that goal is because you may or may not see it in those 30 days, but you might see it in the second month or in the third month. It puts an unnecessary amount of pressure on you to reach a certain goal, and because you haven't reached where you set out to reach, you're only going to see it as a negative thing, because as much as you've made progress, it's not the amount of progress that you wanted to see in that amount of time. So I think we just need to be less concerned about how long it's going to take and more concerned with just doing it and putting in the work. How long it's going to take, it's out of your hands. Okay, so those are all of the mindsets that I wanted to talk about and that I wanted to challenge you to change. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and also let me know if you enjoy these kinds of video. I posted something similar last week and you guys really liked it, so let me know if you like these kinds of videos, or if you have any video suggestions, please leave them in the comments. I'm so open to suggestions, having these kinds of conversations. And if you enjoyed this video, you're also going to enjoy the one I posted last week, so I'm going to leave it here on the screen. Go watch it. If you don't go and watch it, it's okay, I won't take it personally. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you for listening to me yap, okay? And I hope you have a good workout the next time you go to the gym, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.